what is or should be the role of men during Ramadan as part of the family? He works and the wife doesn't. Does that mean he should not participate on the making of food, etc.?
So actually, scholars talk about a lot of the roles of men in the home, including men who are required or are the ones who need to be responsible if they can't hire a maid or pay someone to cook for the wife or the family, that they need to be the ones to take on that task. But that's only if there are certain circumstances in the woman's background. And it's actually very, very nuanced discussion in fiqh. I'm just going to reference very, very cavalierly reference it in the sense of no one really hears about the reality that those opinions exist. So there are many, many nuances to who needs to cook and when they need to cook and can they be paid for cooking for the family, and a lot of discussions in the legal matter. But on a general level, I think number one, it's important to recognize that men have a lot of different roles in the family. One of them is the requirement to pay, to be the providers for the family, but that doesn't mean that they're excluded from also the obligation by some scholars to take care of the family within the home. And then we have not the legal discussion, not the obligatory discussion, just what is it like as a kind husband, as a supportive husband, as someone who is following the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ, who did help in his home, who did support his family in that way within his home. And so really, it's impossible to give general guidelines. Specific answers like you should do this, because every person has a very different reality. But what we can say is that for the men, especially if you have let's say your hours are such that you come home early enough, you're not working two different jobs, for example, but that you contribute to the home in the ways that you can. And again, sometimes women are the ones who are working, or there's a dual income household. So making sure that you have a schedule. Maybe men are the ones, maybe the father or the husband cooks certain half of the week and the woman cooks the other half, or he cooks the meat and she cooks the vegetables. There are so many different ways, but men should absolutely help support this aspect when they know that it can alleviate a burden from their wife, or simply because they want to follow in the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ and be able to support. And saying that at the end of the day, only Allah knows what is realistic for your family circumstance. Lots of family circumstances it's just impossible to every family circumstance is different. But with having the intention to support in your home, whether it's taking care of your family, in addition to financially with your children or with your wife, is a huge act of worship for men. And I don't think we focus on that aspect of men's worship very often.